Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, we've been showcasing this great plugin. It's called Divi Image Hover Effects. And you get, I think it's 250 of these things. And they're great. You can make some wonderful things with them. I put this page together very quickly indeed. And they've got it on sale right now for $15, reduced from $49. But Divi's come such a long way. If you're prepared to put in just a little bit of work, you can create some of these things yourself. And we've been sort of putting some scratch things together here, sort of various hover effects. And the one we're going to build today is a sort of call to action drop-in. So we've got this picture of the guitar there. When you hover over it, boom, you've got this little call to action drop-in. And you can direct them to listen to your tune or whatever it is you want to do. And it's pretty easy to do. So let's get started. First thing, obviously, I'm going to enable the Visual Builder. Once enabled, let's just go down to where we want to work. And I guess I'll go next door to this fella. Now the way this works today, I've got a row here with two columns in it, and left column, right column, or column 1, column 2. And the way this works is the column itself is where the picture resides, the image. And then we'll add a blurb module, or a call to action module, sorry, in this case, over the top of it, and just do a little bit of jiggery pokery to make it happen. Now I'm going to write one little line of custom CSS today, but don't let that put you off. I'll put it below the video. You're welcome to copy it, use it how you will. Okay, so firstly let's go in and take care of our column, and if you watched our video for that one above, you're going to know what I'm going to do here, or most of it anyway. So let's go into the row, green tab, inside the rows are columns 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So we're working on column 2. Going to hit the little cog to put in a background image. You've got color gradient, image and video. I want an image. And let's use the same one as we used before. Now you can't see it because our column's actually got no height at the moment. While we're in our column, I'm going to write a little bit of CSS just to make it stay the same height. And to do that, I need to go over to My Advanced tab, down to Custom CSS. And like I say, I'll put this down below and you're welcome to copy it and use it. In the main element, I'm going to give it a fixed height. I'm going to say height, let's say 400 pixels, semicolon. Okay, so that's going to define the height of it. Now when we put our blurb in, I've got to make some settings that will sort of skew the blurb up here somewhere, but we don't want to see it when it's up here. So to prevent that, we can either write some CSS overflow hidden right here, or they've kindly got it all ready for us down here. If we go down to visibility, overflow, overflow, horizontal and vertical. I'm going to set both of these to hidden. Great. So we're in good shape with our row, so let's just save everything. And let's put our little call to action module in. Divi comes as standard with all these light grey modules, with the exception of Divi Image Hover there, which was that plugin I showed you. And that is a great plugin. I bought it. I'm going to be using it a lot. If you've got WooCommerce installed, Divi will also give you another dozen modules to help you market your products, or display your products, I guess I should say. So let's grab a call to action. There it is right there. And there it is. Now you can see it's not filling up our whole column because we told that column to be 400 pixels, and this obviously is not 400 pixels tall. So let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to leave everything pretty much as it is. Let's say new tune or new song, say new tune or whatever it is you want to say. I'll leave it like that for the button. Listen now, perhaps. Okay, and we can't see the button. You won't see the button until you actually put a link in, and that's just scroll down a little bit. We're still on the content tab, hit the link, and link it to wherever you want, your SoundCloud or wherever your tune lives. I'm just going to put a hashtag in mine, and there you see the buttons popped up. And if you want to link the module to somewhere else, you can put it in there, or if you want to link it to the same place, just put the same link in there. If you're linking to your own site, leave it in the same window. If you're linking to an external site, open it in a new tab, that way your site stays open for your visitors. Okay, so we've got our button, we've got our link. Let's go over to our design tab now. Let's make it fill out the whole of the column we've got there. So let's go down to spacing. I'll give it a bit of padding. Top and bottom, well, let's give it 60 all round first and see how we get on. 60, hit the chain, it'll do the opposite. You don't need to put in the picks in, it'll put it for you. Hit the chain. Okay, we're still a little short. Let's up this to, say, 90. Yeah, great, that's covered our image completely. Fantastic. Okay, now what do we want to do? Well, I don't really want to not see I want to see some of the image, but I want to be able to read the writing and see the button well. So let's go to our content and play with our background there. At the moment it's got that default color in it, which I'm not too keen on. Let's get rid of that, because when they're not hovering over it, I don't want them to see anything in the background there, not even the writing or the button. So we'll leave that just like it is, because we want to see just the picture. Now, common to most Divi modules, when you hover over the black legending up there, you'll see these icons appear. And if there's an arrow, it'll give you the option to set a desktop state, which is a non-hover state, or a hover state, which is when your mouse is on it. Now, when they're hovering on it, let's give it a background gradient this time for fun. There's gradient, you've got color gradient. There it is, but I want to be able to see through it, and I'm going to change that second color to purple, I believe. And let's just drag the opacity, this sort of dotted slider, down so we can see quite a lot of the image through it, but we still want to be able to read our button and writing well. That's okay. And we'll do the same for the blue. Oops, taking the wrong one down there. There we go, you can see everything well, you can still see that picture. I quite like that. Great, so that's our background sorted. When they're hovering over it, the background is going to be like that. When they're not, it's not going to be there. So now we need to reposition our actual call to action when they're not hovering over it, because we don't want to see it. So let's go over to our design tab and down to spacing. Okay, again, let's hover over, padding, get the hover and desktop states up, and we'll do the same for margin, because we're going to need this in a minute. Now then, I don't want to see that, and I want it to be up here so that when they hover over it, it sort of drops in from the top. So let's, on the desktop state, we know it's 400 because that's what we told it to be. Let's give it 400 on the bottom. Let's uncheck this because we don't want it top and bottom. It probably wouldn't matter too much in this instance though. So nothing's happened. Well, it has actually. It's added 400, but it's down here and you can't see it because its overflow is hidden. So what we'll do is we'll counter that with a bit of negative margin on the top. So we'll give it minus 400, which should bring the whole thing up by 400 up here. So negative 400. And it's gone. Great. So it's up here somewhere. And overflow is hidden so you can't see it, which is just what we want. Then when we hover on it, hit the hover state right here, we've got to set that back to 0. And it should be back down. There we go. And this one's similarly, when we hover over it, it doesn't really matter, but you could set that back to 90. I think I'm going to leave mine just like that. That way it'll just slide in. That's entirely up to you, but that should work. Now Divi's default time for these transitions to take place is 300 milliseconds, which is pretty quick. And for something coming in from the top, I don't mind that, that's not too bad. But if you want to change it, go over to Advanced, or go to Transitions. There it is, Transition Duration, 300 mils. Let's just take it up to 500, slow it down a little bit. I usually like to have these about a second for drama, but when it's dropping in from the top, it doesn't seem to matter too much for me. But like everything else, it's up to you. Don't want any delay, want it to happen as soon as the mouse goes over it. And speed curve that I'm going to use is ease in, ease out, which is my favorite for these sort of effects. Play with the others. In certain situations you'll find some work better than others, but this works for my hover effects, I think. So all said and done, let's save this, save our page changes, exit the visual builder, and let's go down and see if this is going to work. Bonk. There he is. Now if you wanted to, you could put an additional fade on there to have it sort of fade down and in. But that's entirely up to you. So there it is. There's an image to drop down call to action on hover. Pretty simple to do, but that's a nice little effect. That's going to get people's attention if they're mousing over and see that happening. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found it useful. If you have, please ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.